The last couple months in the crypto market have honestly been some of the hardest to make money in that I've ever seen in my entire 7 year journey in crypto. From the crazy pumps to the crazy dumps, the boring and sideways moments, the tariff news, the Fed news. I mean, there has been so many things pulling this market in so many different directions. I don't want to say it was impossible to trade, but it's been very difficult to trade in, very difficult to make money in general. I mean, you look at something like crypto bubbles and you see that on the week things are up so good. Then you look on the month and things are down so bad. I mean, this sort of volatility is not unheard of, but it's very uncommon. And it's something that most new investors, especially, are going to struggle with like crazy. Now, as a result of all this chaos and this just insanity that we've seen in the crypto market, we've seen people just kind of flying to safety. People selling their altcoins and going by Bitcoin. People have stopped leverage trading, myself included, and just swing trading or just dollar cost averaging, right? A lot of people are kind of leaving the more risky, volatile things behind and they're pursuing more stable forms of either investment, strategies, tools, education, whatever it may be. Now, amongst the people who are looking for those kind of safer, more stable forms of either investments or tools or whatever, I've also started to recognize a ton of people starting to kind of shift their attention back into the place of passive income. We've started to notice staking pools actually doing really good, especially in terms of their ratio percentages. We started to notice many of your passive income protocols gaining a ton of search volume. And it does seem to be kind of a popular thing amongst crypto investors right now because, quite frankly, people just need some stability, and passive income is an easy place to find it. And as a result of this kind of flock to passive income that we've noticed, I actually did want to go ahead and show you guys the passive income strategy and protocol that I do personally use. One that I've started doing some stuff with probably about 3 or 4 months at this given point. I've been trying it, testing it. It is a company that I am partnered up with, and we did bring you this video here today. But I did think it would be a good idea to kind of at least show you what I'm doing because there can be a lot of rough places in the crypto space when it comes to passive income, a lot of scams, a lot of frauds, and I do think this is legit, so I wanted to share it with you today. Now, what we're going to be going over today is CoinEx, okay? CoinEx is the platform that I did decide to use because they do meet my just criteria. My main criteria for a platform that I'm going to do any sort of passive income, whether it's staking, AMM, whether it's just financial, whether it's a lending, whatever it may be, they need to be realistic and they need to keep me up to date. Like those are the two biggest things that I need. I need a platform that's going to keep me up to date, not going to leave me in the dark. Anytime anything happens in the market, I want to know how that affects my passive income. And I also want them to be realistic. How many times have you seen in the past these freaking platforms, dude? They'll just come out and they'll be like, hey, 1,000% APY. Like, dude, be realistic. We all know it's not sustainable, and you are just leveraging that high APY in the beginning to get that influx of new investors, which is no problem, but just be honest about it. That's all that I ask. And most people just are not honest about it. But CoinEx has been. And again, that's why I did want to partner up with them after I used them for a while and talk to you about them today. Now, the two key parts of it that I do personally use are the finance section right here, as you can see, and the AMM. And so we're going to focus on those two today. But in the future, I am actually going to show you some of the other ones, such as staking and loans and stuff like that. Now, the first one that I'm going to show you is the finance section. Okay. The finance section is very simple. You can put your idle cryptos to work in a CoinEx financial account. You'll enjoy daily compound interest with flexibility with no minimum deposit, and you can withdraw it whenever you need. Now, just to kind of summarize some of this a little bit easier, the way you can look at the financial side of things is quite simple. You can go in and you can deposit some of your idle cryptos into some of these different ones, whether it's BOEM, XMR, AKT, USDT, so stable coins, XCM, a whole bunch of different options. And you're going to get daily compound interest. There's no crazy lockup periods. There's nothing like that. You can literally just log in, take your crypto, deposit it, and sign up. Now, some of the key features of it, as I mentioned before, are daily compound interest, the no lockup periods. There are guaranteed returns. So unlike staking, for example, the profits aren't tied to the token price. They use this for financial means, and whenever they make financial means, they're able to give you your compounded daily interest. So even if the token that you have goes down, you're still going to be able to make some income. And there's no minimum deposit, as I mentioned before. So this means you can take $4 and you can open up an account and you'll be able to start earning some interest on that. Good for investors with a little bit smaller portfolios. Now, these different APYs can be a little bit variable, but they are pretty damn good. You can see, 15%, 14%, 4%, 3%. And remember, this is APY, so this is not what you're going to get every single day, but 1%, 1.1%, 0.8%. And if you just have these cryptos just in your portfolio and you're not doing anything with them, why not just earn some extra yield on it? That's the way I think about it. Now, obviously, sure, there is risk with any passive income protocol whatsoever. And we did see that throughout history of 2021 and 2022. So I'm not saying it's risk-free, But it is definitely the reward, in my opinion, is worth the risk because the risk is minimal and the reward is pretty solid. And so this is one of the options that you have as well, in which I do like a ton. Now, in addition to the finance one, as I mentioned to you before, if you want to get a little bit more complex, they have the AMM feature. Now, the AMM feature is market making, it's automated market making, and it refers to the ability for you to provide liquidity when people are trading. Now, their definition of it here says CoinEx supports the AMM function for hundreds of crypto markets, and each market owns a funding pool. You can provide liquidity for the market by injecting funds into the pool and becoming a market maker. By joining AMM, you can enjoy the extra trading fee income distributed by CoinEx. So, the way that this works is that whenever you trade, let's say if you're a leverage trader, you know what I mean, but if you trade, you don't get to just like buy and sell and buy and sell. That's not how it works. You're buying into liquidity and selling into liquidity. And the people who provide the liquidity charge a fee in order to provide that liquidity. And so what this allows you to do is to provide some of that liquidity. And then as people trade back and forth, you can actually start making some passive income off that liquidity that you provided. The cool part about it is you're not taking much of a risk. And in addition to that, like the finance option, you don't it doesn't matter if the token goes down, right? If you're providing, say, Bitcoin as liquidity, whether it goes up or down doesn't really matter because the money you're making comes from the fees of people shorting, longing, buying, selling. And so a cool part about it is this is kind of, again, a little bit more risk averse to actual fluctuations within token prices, which I think is pretty cool as well. Now, another couple key points that I wanted to give for you here is that obviously you earn trading fees. There's really high yield potential because some pairs historically earn way more than others, just depending on the volatility that they have. There's reduced risk, which we talked about before. You get real-time data. So as your fees are coming in, you on a daily basis, you're capable of seeing how much you're making and how much money your money is making for you, which I think is pretty cool. And this is, of course, going to be something that is a little bit more beneficial to people who do understand the trading side of things and they want something that's a little bit more complex that can yield a little bit better returns. And so overall, in my opinion, market making as a whole, it's just fantastic, right? And we know the type of control that market makers have. We know the type of money that market makers have. These are some of the biggest companies in all the world of crypto. And just normal everyday people can go in and they can provide liquidity and become that basically, right? You can provide it for Gold or Mubarak or Riff or TAT or GPT or Bub. There's a ton of different ones. And you can see some of the different payouts that are receiving here. I mean, 7-day fee dividend, $10,000, $7,000. I mean, this is being split up amongst people and the total liquidity is not even that crazy. You look at the total AMM data, there's over 1,300 markets, nearly $20 million worth of total liquidity, with currently a 34% average APY, which does decrease over time. And so because of all of these things, I mean, you can see the general amount of money, it's kind of just easy. Right. And so in a moment like this in the market where, again, everything is so crazy and chaotic and volatile and things are up and down and around and backwards and sideways, being able to go in and take some of that crypto and being able to apply it to be able to do some things like, the financial section or AMM or staking or loans, which we'll talk about in the future, it's a way where people can make money. And I never tell people, listen, don't go put all your money into a passive income protocol. I think that's an absolutely terrible idea. But allocating a portion of it to be able to just compound over time, I think it makes a ton of sense. And that's what I personally do. And I started doing it right around the December time period over on CoinEx, which is, again, why I wanted to talk about them here on the channel today. So with that in mind, I hope you guys did find this valuable. Let me know how you feel about these videos. They're a little different than what I usually post, but I do enjoy making them, and I do think they're actually just valuable. So let me know if you agree down in the comments below. Let me know if this is something that you would check out, and let me know if you do any passive income investing yourself. So let me know down there. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.